Namaste, everybody. Haribo. Welcome once again to the Happy Man channel. And we're going to continue with our conversations about Vedic knowledge, about Vedic topics, about everyday topics that affect us in our life, viewing it from the Vedic perspective. So today we're going to talk about the cycles of the universe. So it's a very interesting topic. As I've said before, we get requests from our viewers to speak on certain topics, or they ask us various questions. So we're trying to address those. So some people want to know about the universe, like from the Vedic perspective. How's it working? Are there cycles, etc.? So, yes, in the material world, there's periods of time. Of course, we all know that. See? There's seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, etc. So on a grand scale, there's long periods of time. And these are known as yugas. And there's 4 yugas that are continuously rotating in a cycle, just like the 4 seasons of the year rotate in a cycle. Summer, fall, winter, spring. Wherever you start, spring, summer, fall, and winter, it's always going around and around again and again. And it's the same with the yugas. So these 4 yugas are very different in nature. See? Let's start with number 1, the Satya Yuga. The Satya Yuga is known as the Golden Age. The Satya Yuga lasts a very, very long time. People in the Satya Yuga live unbelievably long lives. And people are very spiritually advanced in Satya Yuga. And opulence is present everywhere. So it's as good as it gets, materially speaking. Then this is followed by the Treta Yuga. And the Treta Yuga is known as the Silver Age. Treta Yuga is not quite as perfect, you see. It's shorter in duration, people's lives are shorter, a little vice enters into society. So things are starting to go down a little bit. Next comes the Dvapara Yuga. This is known as the Copper Age. And same thing again. It's shorter in duration, people's lives are shorter, and things become even more degraded. And then the last of the cycle is the Kali Yuga. And the Kali Yuga is known as the Iron Age. And it's known as the Iron Age for 2 reasons. Number 1, iron is the most prevalent metal. You see, in Satya Yuga, unbelievably so, gold is the most prevalent metal. In the Treta Yuga, silver is the most predominant. In the Dvapara Yuga, copper. And now in the Kali Yuga, iron. And it's known as the Iron Age because 1, iron is the most prevalent. Number 2, people's hearts in the Kali Yuga are basically like iron. There's very little mercy, there's very little compassion, there's very little love. The Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga is also known as the age of quarrel, chaos, and confusion. Look at the world today. Everywhere we find quarrel, chaos, and confusion. These are symptoms of the Kali Yuga. This is how it works. So, very different atmosphere, very different living conditions, very different consciousness in the different yugas. So, what are some of the questions people want to know? I've already covered one of the, what are the yugas and how many yugas are there? So, that we've discussed. What is the difference between these yugas and which yuga do we live in now? Right now, we're living in this Kali Yuga, this Iron Age, this quarrel, chaos, confusion, turmoil, anxiety, frustration, fear. This is all Kali Yuga stuff. Consciousness is so degraded now. I mean, things are being done by people that, you can't even hardly imagine anyone would think like that or do those things. Kali Yuga. Actually, in the Vedas, it describes Kali Yuga as being a time when we have many, many obstacles, many challenges in our life. Number one, we don't live very long. See? In the other ages, people live much longer, Satya Yuga being the longest. So in the Kali Yuga, the average life of a human should be 100 years. But now the way we live, our lifestyles, and all the things that are going on, very few people make it to 100. If you do, it's kind of like you're a celebrity. Oh, wow, he lived to be 100. There was a lady who started coming to our Bhakti Yoga programs. When she started coming, she was 95, I think, 94, 95. She came very regular. We'd have big retreats. She always came to the retreats. And she lived to be 104 years old. Very rare. And I didn't see her in the last year, but up until the last time I saw her, she was quite active for her age. But anyway, that was a rare exception. She was very lucky because she came to this knowledge, started applying this knowledge to her life at such a late stage, and her life became completely successful. So anyway, the point is, number one, in Kali Yuga, we don't live very long. Number two, our memories are very short. Now, who can deny that? See, you can't even go shopping without your shopping list. Oh, where's my list? It used to be you wrote it on paper, right? You had it in your pocket. You take it out, and now we've gone away from papers and we've come to cell phones. So now it's all in your phone. So you get to the store. Oh, wow, where's my list? It used to be, I left it at home. Now I lost my phone. Where's my phone? But anyway, you have to have a list to remember what you need. If you don't have it, you do your shopping, and when you get home, you found out you forgot something. Oh, I forgot the toilet paper. So short memories. And also, we're plagued with disease. So many diseases now. Diseases that weren't even present before now. Here they come. And then, what else? We're very weak physically. And we're very weak psychically. Who can deny this? Our psyche is so fragile. Somebody says something, oh, it greatly disturbs us. So many people have mental issues. The pharmaceutical companies are getting rich on supplying the drugs to help us with our psychic issues, our depressions, our distress, our anxiety. We talked previously about panic attacks. That's Kali Yuga stuff. And on it goes. And one of the things that's very unfortunate is basically we're not interested in spiritual topics. It doesn't even relate to us. We have other interests, material topics. This is Kali Yuga. And the quarrel, the chaos, confusion, the wars, the arguments. You say anything and somebody wants to argue with you. There's so many things posted on YouTube now and so on. And then you look at the comments from what is posted, and somebody's challenging you, calling you a liar, saying it's not true. And of course, they present their view, and somebody challenges them, and on it goes. Kali Yuga. terrible time. Very difficult, very difficult. See? So we got to deal with that. I mean, here we are. What are you going to do about it? You can't just run away from it, say, oh, it doesn't exist. Now, here's a person who says, some people think that modern civilization is very progressive. Is that true? From a material point of view, some could argue, yes, it is true. Look at all the things we have now we never had before. Look at all the advanced technology. All the scientific advancement is unbelievable. I was just giving a lecture to a group of my friends that are in Sochi. And, I was just talking about a person who went into space as a space tourist. Now he's up there as a tourist looking at space. And his conclusions about what he saw are completely wrong. He doesn't understand the material world, the creation, the universal system, and so on and so on. See, hasn't been educated. The Vedic teachings teach us about all these things. So people would say, yeah, but he went to space. He's very progressive. Look how far we've come. Or how far we've gone away from the truth. This is what you can also look at. We've come far materially and gone backwards spiritually. We're very rich materially and very poor spiritually. And it's playing a big toll. It's taking a toll on society in general. People are suffering greatly because of this. I just talked to a lady on Sunday, and I've known her for some years. She's a very nice lady, and she was telling me how all the things that had happened to her in her early years in life and so on, she had many tragedies that occurred, all came crushing in on her in 2018. And she was just on the verge of committing suicide. It wasn't that she was just kind of thinking about it. I mean, she'd actually made the decision because the mental pain, the psychic pain was too great. She couldn't stand it. But then, fortunately enough, she reflected on the truth. She's got 2 children, how it's going to affect them, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, she didn't do it. But these are the tragedies that are happening on a daily basis to us. See? So we're not progressive. This is some illusion. If you're a materialist, you may be able to prove it from a material point of view. But if you're a spiritualist, someone who has actual true vision, you can see we're going backwards and quickly, not just slowly, slowly, slowly. It's like, a downhill run with no brakes, just going toward the cliff. So it's not a good thing. Modern civilization is a tragedy, really. Because what is civilization? Civilization is a society of individual people that have come together and live in a civilized way. That means an organized way, a regulated way, a correct way. And that guidance of how to have a true civilization, as it should be, is contained in the Vedic scriptures. All the guidance, all the rules, all the regulations, all the knowledge of who we truly are, spirit, soul, not the material body, what we should do in our human form of life, how we should use the talents we have, the facilities we have, what to do with our intelligence, our minds, and so on and so on. It goes on and on. That is all in the Vedas. And when one lives according to that guidance, that's a true civilization. But today, all of that is lost, forgotten, rejected. You present it, People don't want to know about it. They criticize you, they blaspheme you, they blast the whole concept that's being presented, you know. Oh no, this is not progressive. This is too backward. Mm. So, that's Kali Yuga. See? In the Satya Yuga, people were very spiritually advanced. Unbelievable. The whole society was a spiritually based society. So if you were a member of the society, you were a spiritually oriented personality, automatically so. Mm. So it's what we, the spirit souls, need, but we certainly don't get any encouragement. We don't get any help. We don't get any influence in Kali Yuga as it is today. Mm. So we can talk on and on about this. This is such an important topic, because can we in the Kali Yuga live as we should? And the answer is yes. The Vedic scriptures are there. The information is there. The bona fide spiritual master is there, guiding us, teaching us truth, teaching us what civilization should be like, what is the purpose in life, how we should conduct our everyday activities, see, how they should be oriented, what is the goal, who are we trying to please, and all of that. That is available. And if one lives according to this, then they will be spiritually advanced also. See, they will be Satya Yuga like. It's not Satya Yuga, but it will be individually Satya Yuga for those who do this. My spiritual master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, he said if everyone today would follow these teachings as outlined in the scriptures, then Kali Yuga could become like Satya Yuga. But, again, the Kali Yuga influence is so strong. We've been so conditioned. And even from birth now, we're being conditioned to see things in this perverted way, to develop taste for the dark things in life, to think the goal in life will make us happy by enjoying the pleasures of the senses. The dark side is the bright side. That's the perverted message of Kali Yuga. So we as individuals can do the right thing for the right reason, under the guidance of the right person. See, my spiritual master, Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, see, he's, guiding daily those who would like to follow. Bhagavad Gita, we talked about that in earlier presentation. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they're the light in the darkness. They're the guidance. If you're lost at sea, you're always looking for that buoy, that beacon to guide you in to the harbor, out of harm's way. They are that beacon, that light. So we can actually, let's say, I don't like to use the word saved because that's kind of, it presents a connotation that some people might not be comfortable with. But saved, yes, that's how it is. Saved from the darkness. We read in the paper about some person lost in the mountains, and he was saved by some person who found him. So that's a good word, really. Saves us from pain, suffering, anguish, and a failed life. So one more question a person asks is, do you know how long Kali Yuga will last? Yes, Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years. Each yuga also has a certain duration of time. So Kali Yuga is the shortest yuga. It lasts 432,000 years. It started 5,000 years ago. So if you do the math, that means there's 427,000 more years left in the Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga just doesn't stay the same. It degrades and degrades and degrades and degrades, gets worse and worse and worse, more and more dark. The consciousness is dimmer and dimmer, you see. We get so covered, so blinded in the Kali Yuga. So don't wait around, you see. Don't wait around for Kali Yuga to end. Oh, then things will get better. No, the message is in the scriptures. Now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. Not later. When I get old, I'll do it. No, now is the time. Wherever you are in life. This one beautiful lady that I referred to started at 95. Can you imagine? Most people say, oh, I'm too old. I can't change my ways. See, 95, she began, you know. So it's never too late. But the best is the earlier the better. You know. So some children are born into families that have this knowledge and, you know, live their life according to these teachings. And what an advantage that is, you know. From the beginning, they hear, you're not the body, you're spirit, soul. See? And then as they grow and receive more and more information, they see the goal in life is not material, but spiritual. They become knowledgeable in how to live every day in a way that will be really progressive. The soul progressing towards spiritual perfection. See? And they see all this material propaganda that we're flooded with every day for what it is. This is not true. This is not the truth. You see, they know what the truth is. That means they know what the truth is not. See, when it's not true, they know it. That's not true. That's a progressive family. That's a progressive life. That's a wonderful situation. And those who are born in such a situation, oh, they're very lucky. They're continuing their spiritual journey from where they ended it in their last life. So, Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years. Dvapara Yuga lasts 864,000 years, and so on. It keeps building and building. You know, if I had a, calculator, I could give you the numbers for the different other two, but I don't have my calculator with me. But it's long, you see, long, long time before the Satya Yuga, and in our estimation, even for the Treta Yuga and so on. And people's lives correspondingly increase in length. See, 100 years for Kali Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, 1,000 years. That's the average lifespan in Dvapara Yuga. And in the Treta Yuga, 10,000 years. Average. People live 10,000 years. And in the Satya Yuga, 100,000. Now you're going to think I'm just making it up, or wherever you read that, it's like, that's just crazy. Nobody could. Well, we're basing everything on what we know. See, oh, but no, nobody lives that long. Nobody can live that long. But how do you know that? You don't know that. You can't prove that they don't. The scientists are struggling, trying to make it so people live, 100 years. If everybody lived 100, oh, how great, See? But Satya Yuga, people live 100,000 years. But it's a wonderful 100,000. Here people are committing suicide at 15. Life is so hellish. They're looking to get off the wheel of birth and death at 15 years old. The pain is too great. My friend who I just referred to, She's in her 40s, but maybe 50s, probably in her 50s. And she was ready to prematurely get out of here. But in the Satya Yuga, it's not like that because people are living spiritually advanced lives, you know. And there's joy in spiritual life. There's happiness in spiritual life. It's not all this pain and suffering and misery. See? And on it goes. Now, here's one more point about these yugas. You know, this is going pretty long, but this is important. In each yuga, there's a prescribed spiritual process that's suitable for that time so people can become completely spiritually realized and go back to the spiritual world. So in the Satya Yuga, when people are so advanced and they have so much time, it's silent meditation. So sages will sit for thousands of years in silent meditation, meditating on the Lord in the heart, controlling the mind, the senses, and so on, and reach perfection. Valmiki Muni, one of the great saintly perfected personalities, you know, in the Satya Yuga, it's described in the Vedic scriptures that he meditated for 60,000 years and reached perfection. But it was possible. It wasn't like, he did it. No, he did it, and it was joyful. In the Treta Yuga, see, there's a different technique, a different process, because Treta Yuga people aren't qualified to do that. So there's the process of very elaborate sacrifices offered to the Lord in a very precise way. Mantras must be chanted perfectly by qualified Brahmins, which are the priests. There's a huge amount of paraphernalia required, but it's suitable for that time. People do it and they become perfected. In the Dvapara Yuga, things have gone down. See, those other two processes are not suitable. So the process is very elaborate temple worship. Worshiping the deity of the Lord in the temple, again, in a very precise way, according to scriptural guidance, the priest, etc., all things done correctly, and they reach perfection. In the Kali Yuga, none of that is suitable. We're not capable. See, we need something that's very easy. We need something that works very quickly. We need something that's very, very powerful to overcome all the handicaps that we have. So we need something that's very easy to remember. Our minds are very, very limited. So what is that method? Chanting the holy names of the Lord. Chanting these mantras that we're always encouraging people to chant. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohanan. See, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. You can remember these very easily. And we repeat them and repeat them and repeat them. Transcendental sound. Purifies the mind, purifies the heart, nourishes us, the spirit soul. This is the prescribed process for the Kali Yuga. It is our duty to do that because the duty of the soul in the human form of life is to engage in spiritual activities. And this is the prescribed duty, the method, the spiritual process for Kali Yuga, chanting the holy names. And if we do that, we'll be successful. Just like in the previous yugas, they did the prescribed method, they were successful. If we do that right now, we also will be successful. And our life will become ever increasingly joyful. Peace, calmness, happiness, satisfaction in the heart will occur automatically. As the disease of materialism and false ego goes away, the health of spiritual life blossoms. So, the Kali Yuga is here, we are in it, but there's a solution. Chant the holy names. and be happy. Okay, thank you very much. Namaste. Haribol.